Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to It's Rainmaking Time. This is Kim Greenhouse. It gives me great pleasure to bring forth Mireille Guiliano, the author of French Women Don't Get Fat, The Secret of Eating for Pleasure. She's also the author of French Women Don't Get Fat cookbook, Women, Work, and the Art of Savoir, Faire, and French Women for All Seasons. She has literally turned the tides on our understanding of food, wine, champagne, eating, and she is bringing joie de vivre and sensual culture back to women across the world. She is bringing romance to people that have forgotten it or lost it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mireille Guiliano to It's Rainmaking Time. Good evening, bonjour.
Bonjour and merci.
It is my pleasure. Je m'appelle Kim Maison Verte.
Oui, je m'appelle Mireille, ou bien Mireillot in Provençal, which means sun ray.
Beautiful.
Sunbeam. So, joie de vivre is easy for me. I live it every day.
You can tell that you live it. And I actually saw on your website that you said you were retired. This doesn't look like retirement to me.
No, I wouldn't use that term. I think someone said it. Or...
Did they say that you were retired? I think there was quotes around it, like a joke, maybe.
No, it was, from corporate life, I took an early retirement, but it was to follow, my third act. And I certainly don't feel that I work much less than full-time, but a little bit less and differently anyway. I now have an inbox that I can control, and I don't have to do all these awful presentations with figures and statistics and numbers, which is not my cup of tea at all.
And yet, you were the spokesperson for Champagne Veuve Clicquot.
Yes.
And you were there 20 years as a president and CEO. I imagine your joie de vivre increased when you left.
Well, there were lots, like in any jobs, there were lots of fun things to do. I love to lecture and host dinners and make food and wine presentation and talk about culture. But I didn't like the admin part of it, the human resource part of it, the hassles and the stuff that a CEO has to deal with, and it has to be done. But I guess that's true about any job. There's no perfect job, and you have to make the best of it. But generally speaking, I was very passionate and loved building a brand. Basically, was what really excited me to do.
I've never been a champagne drinker, but I have to tell you, when I went on Facebook and I watched you pour champagne and teach us how to drink it, I became interested in it.
It's contagious, isn't it?
It really, I'm telling you, it became very contagious.
It's very good for you, of course, in moderation, but a glass of champagne has, I talk a lot about all the benefits in my books. And in French culture, a glass of wine is, wine is food for us. It's part of the meal. It's an element of the meal. So it's like a piece of bread or a piece of fruit. It's just, a little section that complements the meal and gives you more pleasure.
This book, it's in 37 languages already. Every woman in the world should read it. This really should become almost a movement, because this would bring back romance. This would bring back fun and pleasure. There's so many things about your book, French Women Don't Get Fat. One of them that you said is, French women have a balanced and time-tested relationship to food and life. That's really true.
Yes, and I just spent another summer in Provence now that I have more time. And I see it over and over, although things are changing, like everywhere else. We still have this quality of life that is really unique to France. And it's just marvelous to how it has an impact on your day, on your mood, on your family, on your friends, on the way you feel and the way you behave and the way you act. And it's part of the whole holistic concept about the French lifestyle.
And you say also that the French don't talk about diets, only what you enjoy, feelings, family, hobbies, philosophies, politics, culture, food.
Well, we deal. I mean, we are like every woman in the developed world. Some of us have to do a few tricks, but we don't talk about it because, first of all, it's boring to others, and we certainly never mention it to our men. But we do what we have to do. We work on compromises and compensations, but without depriving ourselves. And we know how to enjoy a meal. Let's say last night I met friends for dinner and we had wine and bread and cheese and I'm not going to say, oh no, I can't eat this, or oh, this is too fattening. No, I enjoy it. And the next day, guess what? I'm not going to have 2 croissants for breakfast. I'll have a yogurt, So it's the French woman who is good at being bien dans sa peau knows how to manage her relationship with food and how to control it in a way, because it's all in the mind, and she knows how to beat the mind and how to look at it on a weekly basis rather than on, going on the scale every morning and seeing that you have 3 ounces too much and you're going to have to starve yourself. So it's a different attitude towards food and towards well-being.
And I notice also that people don't grow up dreading to cook. It's part of life.
No, actually, that is the big message and philosophy in my third, in the third part of the French Woman trilogy, the cookbook, which is more than a cookbook. It's really the continuation of the lifestyle. And it's something actually that I learned after writing French Women Don't Get Fat and lecturing this past 5-6 years. And especially in America, and also a little bit in England and Australia, which are by far the countries with the most overweight and obese people, I was trying to understand why are there so many people with this challenge. And it occurred to me that, especially in America, which is a young country in terms of discovering food, 20 years ago, everybody was eating like
Pop-Tarts and
junk food, yes. But discovering food and different foods and different ways of different culture of food. But most of the people would eat prepared food or restaurant food or junk food. And in most cases, it's not real food unless you go, to a great or very good restaurant. But it's what I call fake food. So people have really no connection to food. They eat something that comes out of a box and that is usually oversalted or oversweet, and that makes you more hungry. And on top of it, you don't eat at the table, so you don't involve your senses. You don't take the time it takes for you to really, make the difference between eating to live and living to eat. When you eat fast, you eat more. And when you learn to eat at the table and, eat slowly and chew well and not multitask, then, your brain needs 20 minutes to send this message, to get the message that you've eaten enough. And most people, according to surveys and statistics, eat their meals between, 3 minutes and 12 minutes. And that's not enough. So in a way, you're wasting everything. And if on top you're eating the wrong food or the food loaded with not only sugar and salt, but all these, what I call poison, the chemical, the fructose, corn syrup, and all that, that is not food. That is disguised, poison. So cooking is so vital because cooking connects you to food and it makes you look at food, smell food, prepare food, and then you can involve, your children, your partners, your family, and then you sit down and you share it. And eating at the table is more than just feeding yourself. It's
ritual,
about conviviality, and it's about